I think it's a strong opinion of mine. And again, this might be an ageist type thing, but I find the time value of VR gaming much more important than the time value I have when PC gaming. Half-Life Alex, you brought that up. I find a lot of time value in that because the modding community has done a fantastic job keeping that game relevant. The Bioshock mod, I'm not sure if you've played that. I was blown away. Bioshock is one of my favorite games I've ever played. It was probably story wise the first. I won't spoil it, but what's the word? Not cliffhanger. Just surprise. I don't know the
Twist.
word. Twist.
Yeah.
Twist. The greatest M Night Shyamalan twist that I've ever had in my gaming experience because I did not see it coming at all. So I appreciate the modding community like that, but I see a lot of VR games coming out that I play a little bit of. I have no problem calling them out. Cards and Tankards is a current one that I really am enjoying, but I find that between the comfortability of the headset, the battery life, and the time sink that some of these games don't seem to value, it's a big detractor. And I don't know how to, I don't know if this is a me problem. Maybe the chat can chime in. But I find that where we can take liberties in PC gaming or traditional console gaming with people's time because you can multitask during it, you can pause at any time. VR gaming has a lot of challenges that I think the time value of your time spent in the headset has to be valuable. I think that is huge for retention.
Yeah, I agree. I would say there's a flip side to that. And that is if someone's playing a mobile game or if someone or even a console game or a PC game, they are not they can be distracted visually. Your phone can ring, you could see something out of the corner of your eye, you could just want to check your emails real quick or something like that, and it's very easy to kind of disconnect for a moment and go do that. Whereas one nice thing about VR is when you're strapped into the headset, you know, you're completely immersed. You don't get your phone notifications, at least not in the headset. You're in a completely different world, and because of that, I think that we do see pretty strong session lengths. I think our average session length is like 40 or 45 minutes, which is a decent amount. For a VR session, I think it's like a good amount for a VR session compared to like a mobile game that in many cases could just be like 10 or 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think, and I agree. I think there is still, fatigue that comes with being in VR. So I do think it's pretty critical for developers to kind of really think about giving people in the game like moments to breathe and to like relax a little bit too, and not just be burdened with action, or have kind of good stopping points so that there is an opportunity to kind of get in and out. Obviously in our case we have like rounds of golf, so they're pretty natural, but we decided to launch 9-hole courses instead of 18-hole courses because we had tested 18 holes and it was like, wow, this is a lot. Like, this may be asking too much. Like, let's tone it down. And if we need to increase, then that might work. And we've actually thankfully had, very few complaints about it being 9 holes instead of 18 holes. And I think if we did have 18 holes, my guess is the majority of people would only play 9 anyway. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I think
I
thinking
don't
about
personally
session length.
golf too much, but if you gave me 18 holes, I'm stupidly drunk by 9. So I back you up
Yeah,
on that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, exactly.
let me end it here. I think it's important, and I want to give you the time to sign off on this. I think right now, opinion wise, VR's in a little bit of a spot. The content is coming, but it's not coming at the speed that people expect. And I think a lot of those expectations are based off their past experiences with non VR gaming, which is fair. We are all subject to our past experiences. Don't judge anyone for that. The content that is coming, the content that Pro Putt VR wants to give, what's the light at the end of the tunnel? What would you say to someone who is either in VR right now and wanting more, or someone looking currently to VR for that future possibility? What's your pitch for the future?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question. My long-term hope is that, VR gets to the point where a good portion of people can be in VR, and maybe it's mixed reality, as a substitute for staring at a computer screen and typing on a computer. And my hope is that when we get to the point where people are actually working in VR and spending a good portion of their day in a VR environment, and hopefully it's a lot more comfortable and better resolution and all of that. My hope is at that point, we will see a lot more opportunity for kind of these like much more smaller apps coming out, like kind of like the flash games of like the late 90s or early 2000s, or that style of thing, where you started to see all these little games on the web that you could play and you didn't have to buy, and there were some really fun ones that were just really engaging. um, my hope is that VR kind of gets to the point where it is more of a utility, so that that creates more of these casual opportunities. In the meantime, creating a full-fledged VR game that people are willing to pay for is extremely, it's very expensive, time-consuming, and requires a specific sort of skill set of developer or expertise of design, that is around 3D, which is very complicated. Not just 3D, but like fully immersive. And if you're dealing with Quest, then it has to be extremely performant. And it's very expensive. It's very time consuming, and unfortunately, with the size of the market, there just aren't that many studios that are wanting to take that risk, because the best case scenario reward, is still relatively small compared to the other markets like console or mobile. So I think patience is the key word, like you said earlier. I think this is a marathon. We're at like probably the first quarter mile of it, not even that far along. The fact that the Quest 2 is doing so well is um, incredibly amazing, and it's huge momentum going forward. But I do think patience is required, and if you're into VR, then I highly recommend, just like maybe it's like once a month, once every couple months, whatever you can kind of afford. Just like go find a new game on the store and just buy it and play it, and then send the developer your feedback. Like, we love to get feedback, especially if it's constructive criticism that'll help us make the game better. That's what we're looking for. It really helps support us. I know every dev out there, can use the extra money, and everyone I know is certainly planning to invest that back into VR. So check out games. Eric, you've said it multiple times on Twitter. There are a ton of like sort of hidden gems out there. If you want to play a single player game, like before bed type of a thing, that is just such a great stress reducer, like go buy Cubism. It's so well done. It's such a great game. You will not be disappointed. It's $10, I think. So it's like, just go support that. Let's let's go support the people that are kind of risking it to be in there. And then I think that's also going to make it easier for new devs to get in, because everyone will see there's kind of more spending happening. So yeah, I think we've got a bit of a flywheel going, but it's just starting to spin, and it's going to take some time for everything to kind of click. But I think we're moving in the right direction, and I think the future is going to look really bright.
Hit that subscribe button to stay on top of the daily clips, or catch the debates and fireside chats live on the main channel down in the video description. See you next time, Space Cowboys.